Hey folks, fWhip here, and welcome to episode 12 of our Minecraft Survival Let's Play, where we are starting out here in front of our brand new fish shop with the Grumpy Panda himself. Thank you all so very much for the support on the last episode as we built this thing up here and finally finished up the staircase to get all the way up to our starter base that we have on top of the hill. Why we built it on top of a hill, I don't know, but we did. Speaking of being on top of a hill, it's quite annoying traversing on these pathways that we have, and I want to start setting up some express routes, you could call them, to get ourselves from right here to, say, maybe like right over there on a minecart. For that one though, I am absolutely out of jungle wood at this time, so we've got to climb up to one of the tops of these mountains and chop down a bunch of jungle trees. If you are excited for today's episode though, be sure to click that like button down below and let's get this thing rocking. Now you're probably wondering, why am I chopping trees from the absolute top of the mountain up here? Well, it's because eventually I want to bring this mountain down a lot. I feel like it's just a little too tall for this area, and I feel like if we brought it down, we would have a lot more building space to be able to work with in the future, instead of right now we're kind of stuck on a few cliffs. Oh, it's perfect up here. There's vines and jungle trees galore. Oh, we're going to be able to get so much wood. Now, on top of our express route to get across the village canyon, or whatever we're calling it down there, is I wanted to spend a bit of time working on a new project today. I am absolutely loving the steampunk atmosphere we've been creating up here, and it's so very cool, but I really love to build farming villages inside of Minecraft. That's probably the thing I could build constantly without ever getting bored of it. And as we are still in the need of a lot of resources, especially dyes, to be able to make some really cool buildings inside of the steampunk city, I thought today we would head over to the flower forest biome and start working on a flower farming village. That should be enough damage to the jungle for today. Now to find our way back down. I think we can use that same water stream we used to get about halfway up here. If we can make the jump, that would be awesome. Now, where was it? Don't need to clear too many blocks for this guy, so that should work out just fine, and down we go. All right, back in the base now, and what I want to take inspiration from is actually this minecart rail we have at the top of the storage room, which is now also recently filled with all of our junk. I need to get some item frames on here to actually mark out what these different chests are. I'm not sure how many rails we're going to need or how long this is, so I'm just kind of bringing a bunch of resources with us here. Let's craft up, let's say, 48 more rails. Now for the minecart route to get ourselves across. This is the hardest part. Where do we want it to start and where do we want it to end? After that, it's more or less going to be a line of jungle trapdoors. So what we could do is bring ourselves up a few blocks here, but that raises us up a good amount of blocks. So what if instead we make a few more of these jungle slabs and bring ourselves down a little bit further off to the side here? This will also help to clean up the area just a touch, because the vines here are getting very out of hand, and we might be able to save a cow in the process. Come on home, buddy. You can leave the grass block. It's fine. I think step number one here is going to be pillaring across our demise if we fall down, and at least getting the base framework of this in. That is a very long line of blocks here, but that should be okay. That should be totally fine. Now we've got to figure out how many powered rails we need in order to get ourselves over there, and then also, you know, from this side going all the way over. And we can have a spruce plank as the start and stop point with a button on the top. And then I think if we just do 3 powered rails, that might be able to make it all the way. So if we do that, that lights up the whole thing and we'll go shooting across. It's time for the first test over here, and we'll see if this actually works or not. So get in the minecart and go and shooting across. Please make it, please make it. Not holding W or anything, and then it does stop us right here, and we can slowly W forward if we want to. Taking a little bit of a further step back here, and what do we got? Well, I can't see it. No, I don't hate it. I don't hate that at all. I think we got to work on the under platform right there to make it a little bit more interesting, as well as right over there. Actually, that one's not too bad at that point. That I can live with. But actually, just the trapdoor line going across. What I wish we could do, we might be able to set it up, is somehow having the minecart just constantly moving back and forth. So it's like a subway that you have to catch it as you're going across. If we were to go with that route, we need to change the buttons over to those levers that I had crafted up earlier, and then bring this guy all the way back here. And I think he's probably going to die in the middle. He makes it about halfway, so maybe if we add another 2 or 3 things across, then it could work out. If you didn't catch my descriptive word of 2 or 3 things, it was extending this out by a few more powered rails. So if we get in, we will go flying across here and make it all the way for sure, because it's a heavier minecart when there's a player inside of it, but then we need to make sure that when there's no player inside of it, so the weight's a bit lower, it still is able to make it. With 6 going across now, we are almost there. Oh, it's so close. Extending it out to 8 now, and this might be enough to make it across. There's no slopes or anything. Please. Oh, it is. Oh, 8 is going to work perfectly. I love that it actually slows down. Eventually, I'm certain I'm going to be down in the village and randomly being hit by an arrow here that is going to be a skeleton going back and forth across this thing. So if we're to come all the way out here to also make it look a little bit more like it makes sense having this big chunky thing hanging down. Goodbye forever, trapdoor. I want to bring in a few more of our jungle slabs, so we can do a jungle slab right here, and then sticking out of the sides of these, I think we'll also have more of those jungle slabs. We can do those guys, and then that's going to be oak fences just trailing themselves all the way back up here until they eventually reach a point where we're going to have some beams hanging out. Baby zombie, I'm trying to build a railroad over here. Can you just leave me alone? That would be fantastic. All right, goodbye, buddy. So we've got the oak fences all the way up here, taking a few more oak fences than I thought it would. But if we bring all of these guys stretching up right here, and then also out of that point, I'm hoping it'll look pretty cool up here. We could just have these guys hanging for now. We'll detail them out later if we need to, but for now, I think that'll be okay. Both sides are in now, and it's looking really cool from up here, in my opinion. Now we got to see what it's looking like from down below. Let's start up the rail, head back over here. I don't know why, and I forgot a minecart. Let's just plop that down here, and you're going to stop again. Okay, let's go right there, buddy. That looks really, really cool. I love that it almost stops right before every single one of those with all the fences hanging down. Whatever they're called. At this point, I'm pretty sure my steampunk aesthetic literally just means minecarts moving around the base, but I'm okay with that. It looks really cool. We got to gather up a bunch of these guys right here, then make a quick stop over at the mesa, and then I think also the birch forest because I'm out of birch wood. Now, the reason why I grabbed all of these is because I would absolutely love to use some magenta terracotta for the roof of this place. I want to make the flower forest biome being rather colorful. Now, of course, as we're setting up a new base, we need to acquire a new bed for ourselves, and I figured what would be better than not a dandelion bed, a yellow bed. There we go. Goodbye for now, my steampunk village. I'll probably be back in 10 minutes because I forgot a building resource. Land ho at the birch forest, I guess, what I'm hoping to eventually turn into a birch forest with all these saplings, but they are refusing to grow. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time over here chopping down a bunch of these old trees. While waiting for some of the trees to grow, I found this cave down here that has a nether portal sitting underground. I always forget about these things, and whenever I come across them, I'm like, that's so cool! Because I know it'll give me an advancement, I'm also gonna harvest the crying obsidian. To wait out the nighttime, I have decided to build a small dock down here for our new birch forest farming island. Morning is back, and I am pretty hopeful that all of these trees are going to grow up today, and we'll be able to get so much birch wood. Right now, we're at literally half a stack. I've gathered more oak wood trying to clear out the oak trees than I've gotten birch wood waiting for them to grow. Unfortunately, I think we're going to have to bid adieu to this giant, magnificent tree up here. Oh, it looks so good, but I need to clear the space for the birch trees. Waiting to chop down some more birch trees, and of course, I'm doing a little bit of terraforming and smoothing out the area. Yeah, I'm just trying to stay busy around here. I've sat through far too many nights at this point in time. We've got a little over 2.5 stacks now, and I think that's going to be good. The terraforming work has been going well. I've kind of smoothed out the top to actually create a flatter area to harvest all the saplings on. Next up is I'm hopefully going to be able to find the flower forest island. I don't really know how to get to it from here. We do, however, have a trident wielding drown over here. I'm trying to kill every single one of these that I see so I can eventually get a trident because I would love to have one. Is it gonna be the day? It's gonna be the day. Today is not the day. I ended up getting lost, so I went all the way back to our city in the jungle and just started heading directly east from there. And I believe if we get to the far side of this island, eventually we should see an island that has a bunch of flowers on it. That's my hope. I see a sunflower, whatever the heck that is supposed to be, and that is very tall spire of rock sticking up out of the middle of nowhere. But there's a trident wielding drown down there. We're going in. We're going in. He doesn't see us yet. Dive, 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 dive. Oh, it's enchanted too. The knockback sword for fighting a drowned underwater is not the best idea. Looks like a no-go on the trident there again, unfortunately. Bummer. That is most definitely a flower forest biome over there. Look at all those little colorful guys. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, it's beautiful. I think this could be the home of a nice little flower forest farming village. Fwipified forest flower farming village. It's beautiful. Oh, I love this. I'm really happy with the height variation we have in here. So we can start maybe a little dock area underneath this guy and have it slowly working up here with some houses along the edge. And now it's going to be beautiful. What biome are we in here? We're in Sunflower Plains in this area, so maybe that's where we put the actual houses. And then we are going to be doing some redstone farms to make sure that we can produce all of the dyes, seeds, and etc. that we could ever need. Speaking of building, however, this place is going to need a lot of terraforming love to make it work out for us. It's really cool so far, and I think it's got a great feel to it, but oh my gosh, it's going to need a lot of work. I'm thinking for now we can start with a tiny dock in here. Maybe as the place grows and we get the farm set up, we build more industrial looking areas to supply more and more goods back to the city. Now, if we have this set up right over here, and then I was thinking we bring ourselves back 3 at this point instead of going all the way back, just add some more interest to it, and we could turn this into a small little bit of like an L-shaped dock coming all the way over to this point. And that'd just be a lot more fun to have something different down here. And since the spruce wood is a little too dark for my liking, being in a lush flower forest biome, I'm gonna strip it all down. Now for the build itself. I wanted to go with like some yurts today. I thought that would be kind of a fun thing to do, as something different. So we're going to be using some birch wood back here because everybody loves birch wood, am I right? But we've got this over here. Then I was thinking down below using some, for now we'll use spruce slabs. But I wanted to make it look like we had a bit of a base for ourselves and also a balcony that we can walk on, or a deck, I guess, to be able to walk all the way around the house. 2 wide is probably a good bet for this one, so we just have a lot of space to be able to move and always have something that we can get in between. Then we can detail ourselves out a little bit further here, so extending that stuff all the way over here. Now, this is not at all a perfect circle, and that is a-okay with me, so we're going to go with 3 on the end here so we can have a doorway. Then it's going to be 2, and then 1, and then 2, then 3, and going all the way around. I think half of this structure is probably going to be hidden underneath the ground, just a touch. Ended up breaking out the entire circle here for ourselves, and what is, oh my gosh, it's a skeleton. Excuse you, please just stop. Just go in the water. Now, probably with every house, so we can keep the dangerous mobs outside, let's stack these walls up a little bit. That should be much better, right? No, don't worry. I'm not that insane. We're not building it out of birch wood. We're gonna strip it all down. We do have some walls up. That means we can put a bed down, right? Technically, it's at our house. Technically, so I don't have the bed on me. It's down in the chest. Oh, there's a creeper about to drop on top of the bed. That would have been very bad. Adding in the last few bits of detail before we gotta run off and get that terracotta for the roof. But it's really starting to look pretty cool. I added in a big area all the way around here with at least 2 wide on the slab action so we can get around pretty smoothly. And then I thought we should add in a little bit of a trim up here too. I think what I want to do today is try and figure out if we have all of the 2 tall flowers and get that farm set up. The only 2 tall flower we were missing was actually that guy right over there, the sunflower. So we're good to go on all of that. We just need to be able to supply bone meal at this time. And there's some lovely andesite right here, which I think we can use as a bit of a trim underneath the deck. It's starting to look like a real little base up here now. I love this. We've even got all of the andesite underneath for a little bit of a trim, and then we can throw in maybe a window right here and a window right there. And I didn't bring any glass with me, so we'll do that here soon. Then we can just do some over here as well. And maybe on this side, instead of the one right back in here, we do a big tall guy right there. And then at this point, we could bring in our fireplace. I feel like a fireplace could be really cool right back here. We'll detail out the inside of it a little bit more later on as we're working. But for now, what if we bring in some of these guys and then have this extending all the way up here? We can do one final chiseled stone brick right there because we have it. Stop burning our toesies, stand on top of the trap doors, and finally add a slab on top so we can't actually see the fire. Now, if my memory serves correctly, we should just need to go straight this way and we'll hit the mesa. Oh, there's the mesa right behind it. I was staring at this guardian temple being like, ooh, that's really cool. We're right next to a guardian temple, but nope. The mesa is right back here, as beautiful as ever. This should hopefully be enough of the stuff. We've got just over 4 stacks for now. We can always come back later, and there's a drowned sitting in my boat. Excuse me, sir, that is mine. Thanks for keeping the seat damp while I was away, and let's head back on home. Back at the island now, and seeing this from the daytime, it's not looking half bad. For the roof itself, I want to start by lining out this bit. We'll do the front face here together so we can get a good idea of what's going on. So we'll go ahead and do this front, third or something like that. After this point, I wanted to bring in some windows. So we can have like a little window right here, right like that. Throw in the glass pane and we can do a slab right on top of it. Then these guys, we're probably going to have them inching upwards like this, then come in 3 across right there. Then in here, I think what'll be easiest if we just step them back one by one, and then we do something like this, and then right in here, and I think we can just break that up so we're just having the direct stepping across. And now to help create that dome shape, I'm gonna round these out a little bit further here. So instead of having every single point just raising it up by 1, we're going to move forward with having them all being connected. So inside of here, I think I might actually need to raise this one up. Remind me to put a stone brick there if I forget. So we have that very, very top like this, and we can do one of those little plus shapes to round it off a little bit further. All right, I am tweaking this a lot, and I have no idea what I'm going to be doing up here quite yet, so hopefully we can come up with something cool. Come up with a design. I haven't taken a look back at it yet, so what do we think here? Not bad. Not bad. I'm kind of liking this a lot more as we're going. But there we go. That'll be a little bit of a front awning for ourselves, and then maybe we could bring some spruce fences right along here to help break up the consistent lines of birch that we have going all the way around. And these leaves, we can throw in some right there, some right there. I'm just thinking in front of all of the different windows we have will be kind of a nice way to add a little bit of like a hedge around the building, because it is starting to look very cute. Now, from the inside, we have a hole in the top. I need to fix that for sure. But outside of that, I'm not a big fan of seeing all of this terracotta from the inside. I like it feeling like it's painted on the outside as not the whole roof. Otherwise, I feel like we're living in an ice cream cone. So what I'm gonna do here is I think I'm going to just use a bunch of spruce stairs, send them all the way around here, and just start working on a little bit of a trim for ourselves. Starting to feel cozier and cozier in here already. I've got to come up with some sort of interior design plan for this one, and I have no idea right now. Maybe we can start with like a beam looking like it's holding up the center of our house. And from there, I'm lost. And then I was found. I found something cool to use in here. Look at this place. I love it. We've got a little bit of raised area for our double white yellow bed over there. We've got this nice little open spot. Kind of want to throw a carpet in here, but, you know, don't really have dyes to be able to dye any wool right now, so that's why we're over here. And then over in this area, we got a little kitchenette cooking area over there. We got some barrel storage. We got all of our junk storage in here. Composter in case we need to make some bone meal off of what we're generating. And it's looking super fancy schmancy, and I love this build. It's so cool looking. Now that we have this house figured out over here, I want to work towards getting our double tall flower farms built out today so we can have some dye production rockin' moving forwards. So I want to start here first and foremost with our sunflowers, since the sunflowers are facing this way, and I want to be able to walk up and see the actual flowers themselves inside of it. I figure we got to place this guy first and foremost. Each structure is going to have its own independent little farm, so maybe for this guy, since we got a nice little ledge right up here, we can build him right here. For each of the farms we build, I think a small like 5x5 hut is going to work out the best. So if we plan for the flower being right there, then we take some yellow stained glass, surround it all the way around for now, and just build this section out. We then have a nice little spot for our farm. The way these things work is we're gonna have a dispenser above it, being this guy right here, looking straight down. And once we fill that with a bunch of bone meal, we're gonna use some observers to chain react and activate that over and over and over again. Right there, that'll be looking forwards. And then if we have a second one right here, you'll see that those are activating themselves. They unfortunately are not activating the flower at this point in time because, well, we are actually going to need a craft table here where we can grab some spruce slabs for ourselves, and we've placed this guy right back in here, so it'll give us an access point to the bottom half of the dispenser. We can then place this little dust right on top of there. You can hear that that is activating the dispenser down here and clicking away. So this is going to be rather annoying for us. Let's get this thing out of here real fast before it makes me go insane. So we can bring some of the sticky pistons that we got from raiding our jungle temple. Unfortunately, we don't have our own slime quite yet, so we'll have to work on that here soon. We can take another observer, have him facing downwards like this. And then if we break that, that's going to activate the observer, right? Which moves the sticky piston over there. Now, the way we can control this and make it look super cool is by having a note block, which if we right click the note block, it'll activate the dispense or the observer, which then flickies, and then we can leave it right over there and it's totally fine. Now for the collection, obviously all of the dyes are gonna end up right there. The flowers gonna end up right there. How do we sort the flowers? Well, we gotta come all the way down here. We get a hopper line right like this, so that back hopper is right underneath the dirt block for the sunflower. Then we take a rail and we use our hopper minecart right on top of that. And if I did that correctly, if we throw anything down, that'll be able to pick up through the block. Now for a little bit of decoration time, we're going to be using some oak wood as well as creating a little bit of a roof made out of the lovely, lovely spruce wood for ourselves. So we can bring this all the way back over here. And I want to make these small little structures so that we can easily create 4 of them around the village. Adding some trapdoors and those beams in around, we can then bring up some stairs, and then we do a stair, and that brings them all the way to the top where we can add some stairs going around. And then to kind of keep with that same rounded roof feature that we have down there, I was thinking we could bring in some of our slabs, and then in the middle, we can do some full block, which gives us something like this. I like the idea of having some exposed circuitry in the area. From the back, we probably don't want to have too much of this exposed circuitry stuff in here. And now that I'm looking at it, where we had that redstone dust previously, I think I'm gonna add another block in there so we can have this consistent glass face here. Then that redstone dust should still be able to work at this point. I think it can go through the glass block. I brought some bones on us for a quick test here, so loading that stuff up, putting all the bone meal in there, right clicky, and all of the sunflowers are popping out. Awesome. And then they should be ending up right down here with a bonus block of dirt for us, and look at that. So much dye. Bit of a progress update here for you all is I have a brand new pathway leading its way up here using our path block, and added in some spruce wood to make it oh so kind of nice and birdy, and it just comes right the way up here where we have 2 more of the farm set up. So we got the roses right down in here, we got the peonies right up there, and then the original sunflower right there. Now that we have 3 of them in place, I'm really liking it, and I need to get the 4th one being our lilac in here somewhere. And I was thinking right down here, kind of tucked into the wall a little bit, could be really cool. Then I had an idea that I wanted to try here, so I was breeding up a bunch of the rose bushes, is what if around these farms, to make it feel like it's more of a field and a flower forest than what we had before, is around the pathways and everything, we do a little bit of spam of the 2 tall flowers. So we get these guys right in here with all of our roses. And then I don't think I've bred up any of the peonies quite yet. I got 6 of them. They can be starting at least going right around throughout here. And that already is starting to look really, really cool here. I can't wait for this whole area just to be full of so many flowers. The final station is in here for all of the flower dyeing or breeding of the 2 tall flowers, and all 4 are set up. I got all the large flowers in place here too, and I love it. I think this looks really, really magical up here, and now we've got to figure out a way to sort them. The lowest point we have right now is we have a hopper line coming out right there. That is what we're going to have to account for. As we've got this structure right back in here, I was thinking we could have the storage room almost somewhere right down here. So where this pathway goes up, we can maybe also split it coming downwards. This could work out pretty well for trying to have a storage area. I don't know what I'm gonna do with it quite yet. I've got the barrels in now, and now I've just gotta figure out how the heck we're gonna get all the hopper lines down here. This is pretty much all the iron I have to my name currently, so it's gonna be a tight one because we're gonna need 2 hoppers on each of these. What I should really be doing is setting up some sort of water transportation network that's gonna bring them all into one spot, and then set up a little bit of a filter action down here. I've got one of those old school item filtration systems set up down here, so we're going to be looking for all different 4 types of flowers. Got to get those things set up, and then once they're in there, they're going to be headed down through this hopper line out into the barrels there. This is the only way I couldn't destroy the street that we have going on the pathway, so I had to bring in a lot more hoppers. We've got this whole thing set up down here with comparators looking what's in there. What I'm working on next over here is actually our water system. So we're going to have it go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, bringing all the way for the max distance water can travel, and then it's going to go up a block. Adding in our last filter here, and this has been some pretty big redstone action for myself. I couldn't get this one into the water stream, so it's just going directly in by its lonesome. But up here, we've got a whole water stream that leads from all the different points. So that is our rose petal one. Over there is where our sunflowers come from, and the peonies drop down right here, I believe. But regardless, all of them go on that way until there's a little bit of ice that takes them directly to the right, putting them over these filters where it gets picked up and put underground. And oh my gosh, this took so absolutely long to get figured out, but it's working now, I think. I'd like to stress the I think part, because I haven't really tested it too much, but everything down here is pretty good to go as far as the rest of them. They should be able to get sorted, and now I just got to finish the design for this little guy here. But overall, that did save a heck of a lot of hoppers for ourselves instead of having to use them all the way up there and back. So I got 21 sitting on me here now that I didn't use previously. So that's just a lot of extra junk for us to keep back at the base. I have spent quite a while in this area now, detailing it out a little bit further and making sure this area actually works for us. And how did a rose bush end up in there? I'm really not too sure, but check this place out. Added a bunch of bushes along the edges so we have a little bit of a border to our fields, and I think it's absolutely magical. Oh, it's so good. I turned on all these farms so we could have those running. Get in a little bit more, put another stack of bone meal inside of each of them, so I gotta run around and turn them all off. But from over here, this area is starting to look so absolutely awesome. But folks, that is all I've got time for in today's episode. Thank you all so very much for watching. Click that like button down below if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you are brand new. And my friends, let me know what you want to be seeing in the future for one, and I will catch you on the fWhip side.